call this meeting of the Ways and Means Committee together today, Tuesday, June the 7th, 2016. Deanne, would you please call the roll?
Putnam.
Here.
Kelly.
Here.
Ransom.
Here.
McGinn.
Here.
Sherrick.
Here.
Lutz.
Here.
Krieger.
Yes.
Warren present.
Thank you, Deanne. We've all had an opportunity to review the minutes of May 3rd, 2016.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. At this time, we'll allow for public input. Anybody that would like to address Ways and Means, please step to the podium, state your name, and whatever you'd like to talk about, you'll have the opportunity to address the committee. Seeing no one's coming forward at this time. Oh, I see we have one gentleman.
This is about Bayford TV. I've been watching Bayford TV pretty much all my life. I hope you guys can keep the station going because the school's dropped out on it. I like to see Bayford TV go forward, and I helped as an intern at Bayford TV. I think the station needs to stay on the air. I like that station a lot. I like working on the bulletin board. I can remember the times when the bulletin board used to act up, and then I had to tell Nick to fix it and stuff like that. So I really hope you guys can keep the station going.
Thank you, sir. Sir, just for the record, what would your name be?
Stephen Bauer.
Well, thank you, Stephen. Thank you. And I think we're going to address that a little later on in this agenda. Thank you very much. Anybody else would like to address the committee? Seeing no one's coming forward, under our next order of business, under petitions and communications from the sheriff, we have a travel request. This is
moved. Support.
Moved and supported. Any questions or discussion? Commissioner Begic.
Just had a question, what some of the seminars are, what's going to be presented that would be beneficial to Bay County?
The main thing I believe this year is going to be the increased use of heroin on the streets of the United States. Although there's numerous informative seminars at this conference, that's the main thing that I wish to look at. But there's several other things. I didn't bring the agenda with me since I don't believe it's been issued yet. But
Thank you.
I can forward that to the board if need be.
That'd be good, thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Any other questions for Sheriff Miller? All right. Thank you, sir. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Number 2, we have a youth alcohol grant for 2016.
So moved.
Moved and supported. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry. Commissioner Tilley?
Does, John, is this is yours, assuming, would this include things like drugs, or is it just purely alcohol awareness? You said these could be used for drug awareness as well?
I believe this pertains to alcohol. It's funded through the Highway Safety grant.
Okay. Thanks.
Commissioner Herring?
Sheriff, is this something that go in the schools? Is this one of those programs that like we take the kids out to make buys? I mean, is it just about education, or are there some other facets to it?
Basically, it's the road patrol goes out and attempts to find beer parties where children are drinking and gains information where children are abusing alcohol.
Okay. Perfect time here.
Yes. And in the past, we've had several fatalities because of the use of alcohol by young people.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, John. Anybody else have any questions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Number 3, we have a Justice Assistance Grant, the J grant.
So moved.
Support. Moved and supported. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Number 4 would be an elevator repair bid with Otis, the Otis Company for the elevators.
So
Moved and supported.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any questions? Commissioner Krieger.
So we went through our elevator being down for a little more than 6 months. if we have a major repair again that's needed on the other elevator, as far as having the motor rebuilt, would that cover the cost?
I think this one's at the
Sheriff's
Right,
Department.
I know, but it's same kind of a principle. Would this, if it wasn't repairable, let's say, and they say we need a new elevator, would this money be applicable to it?
That's up to the board.
There's several $1,000s.
All right, several thousand.
John, does anybody else have any questions? I think I saw in the background information that it's already been budgeted or it's in capital, so we don't have to take any additional dollars out of.
That's correct, unless they find something additional, which
Sure.
I think there's enough in the budget at this point.
All right, sounds good. Anybody else have any questions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Number 5 would be the 100 Club of Bay County. They're providing $108 to, $1,008, I'm sorry.
Which they receive, I think. It's money.
Moved and supported. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Under B, from the County Executive and Director of Administrative Services, this is a proposed action plan for the former Bay 3 TV.
So moved.
Support?
Moved and supported. Any questions or discussion? Commissioner begin.
There's a section in there that caught my attention about the service clubs, being a Lions Club member. I guess if we had something we wanted to put on, we could get a videotape and pay a fee to have it placed.
So it
placed on.
sounded like.
That's our plan. We would encourage clubs and organizations to, to do that very same thing. So we're hopeful that'll take place.
Great.
Okay.
So there's a charge.
Commissioner Harry.
Yeah, is there any, do you have a projection on, like, if we're paying $42,000 now, and the additional monies that this is gonna cost the town? At this point, so, is it, are we gonna end up in the wash, we're
Well,
gonna end up spending
we-
another $42,000, or where are we at with this?
Our anticipation is that we will be getting some revenue from other sources that'll kind of offset that a little bit. As it stands, we're getting about $2,000 from charter every year. Anything that we're able to get from other municipalities or organizations is great. And we're even looking at the possibility of broadcasting athletic events again, county-wide athletic events, where we would obtain sponsors, again, to defray the costs and to hopefully, give us some revenue. Right now, we are requesting a full-time position, so it would exceed the $42,000 that we budgeted, but not, not by a lot. And the budget we prepared takes into account equipment, new equipment, and we have some things we're probably going to be able to retire. So hopefully, we can streamline the plan so that we're able to make some money as well.
Tom?
The difference, currently it's 42,000. In the proposal that Debbie has put together, it's 48,000. And that doesn't reflect the revenue opportunities that have been discussed, that she
Okay, so
pointed
we're
out.
looking at a $6,000 difference. I think that's important for people to know that too,
Yeah.
because people, I've got the impression that it's gonna be another 42, and it's not, I guess that's the point I'm getting at. I think that, and like I said, I think that's really important for them to understand that we're not absorbing the whole cost because the school system dropped out and the city dropped out. We had them all together one time. Okay, I should have been a little clear.
One more thing I wanted to mention is there is a fund balance remaining with the city, with the public schools, that we haven't received a final figure as to what is left. So I believe we'll be starting out with something as well, but I couldn't figure that into it because I don't know exactly how much there is. So.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Well, I agree with Mr. Mauer. I think the Bay 3 TV is very important to the public, and I like the plan you guys put together. You gotta start with something, and then it can always be changed. Hopefully, the revenue will be there that these other entities, whether it's the city or the schools, will utilize it, and even on the nonprofits as well. So I think it's a good deal. Any other questions, discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Under C, we have the Commandant President of Edison Klein Van Slyke Detachment. This is a 2017 Midwinter Marine, meeting of the Marine Corps League, and that they're seeking a $2,500 appropriation.
So moved. Support.
Moved and supported. Questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. D, from the Animal Control Manager, Paws in the Park.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Commissioner Krieger.
Thank you, Mike.
Yes.
If you would, could you maybe just share some of what happened last year when it was first initiated, the turnout, what went on that afternoon?
The turnout was phenomenal. There were indeed roughly 5,000 people that showed up, pet lovers and advocates for animal rights and things of that nature, rescue groups. Animal Control participated as well with some of our own animals on site. And we thought it a very successful event. Art Lewis was there. It was on the radio.
Right, SGW was one of the
Right.
sponsors.
Mhm. And we were well satisfied with the turnout as well as the results, we think.
Will we be doing anything special with adoptions out of our animal control that day?
We'll be open for adoptions during the course of the event, and hopefully some people will take advantage of that opportunity to adopt animals within the animal shelter.
Very good. Thank you.
Anybody else? Commissioner Begic.
Mike, I saw another thing about cleaning out the shelter. Is this part of this, or
I'm
is
sorry?
that, there's a thing about cleaning out the shelter or emptying?
No, that's a different,
separate-
that's a different matter.
separate
It
event.
involves the loss of some revenues, indeterminate, because we won't know the number of animals in-house, or the opportunity to adopt cost-free, eliminating the adoption fee for that day. So, as an example, we have one adoptable dog in-house today and 50 cats. So, on the day that we hold that Clear the Shelter Day, we're uncertain as to what our inventory will be.
What's the date on that?
The 25th of June,
Yeah.
right?
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, Don, Commissioner Tilley?
You know, you're today.
Hold on.
Today I got home from work and I had 2 stray Shih Tzus in my backyard. My daughter was, concerned about them, and I talk about the importance of getting dog tags. They were from Birmingham, Michigan. The tags where the dogs had coats on. I mean, they were well taken care of, but they had wandered off. Anyways, so I called on the tags, and they have a different system. It goes to the police department, and then the police department then makes the phone call to the house. Well, the lady only had a landline; she didn't have a cell phone, so there was no real way for me to get. I mean, I had her name and her landline number, but no real way for me to get a hold of her. It had just happened to be that I figured with those 2 dogs that somebody would be coming around the neighborhood at some point in time, and sure enough, she came yelling for her dogs, walking around the block. She was up here to visit somebody, and we got them reunited. But that's like the 3rd time this week we've had stray dogs in our neighborhood, and this is the first set that had tags. And so it's difficult to get them reunited with their owners.
Sure.
If they don't have any identification on them.
Right.
So, that's something, so for your pet owners out there, make sure you get those tags on those animals so we can get them reunited. Otherwise, they end up over with Mike again.
Right.
And we hope that they get there before, too long. Or they
Sure.
adopt it out or whatever might happen. So anyways, I thought it was a unique event to come home today, and they were 2 cute dogs. I probably would not have turned them in. I probably would have kept them.
You'd have been in violation of the law, but it
But
doesn't
hey,
matter.
we got them back with their owners, so.
Well, that's a good story.
It is.
Another avenue open to the public animal owners is chip. An identifiable chip that we can scan them and with the information as to who the owner is and so on. So, but it's a good point, and I appreciate your having made it. Anyone else?
Tom's got his hand.
Hey, Mike, just one last question. Speaking of cute, do you have any cute little kitties
We do.
that are twins?
I can't say I've
we're looking for
identified
two,
any
not one.
twins. Kittens, no, I can't say with a certainty, no.
All right.
We used to have
And being no other discussion on Paws in the Park, all in favor? All opposed, motion carries. From the 911 director, we have the 911 network upgrade.
So move. Support.
Moved and supported. Any questions or discussion? Tom, or Commissioner Harris?
Oh, I asked the guy who knows everything, this guy, he's the director. This equipment that is, so we can basically depend on this being replaced every 5 years, is a prudent avenue to take on this stuff.
Yes, it is. 'Cause after 5 to 6, get out that 5, 6, 7 years, the cost of maintenance goes way through the roof. Almost the cost of the equipment is equal to the maintenance, so it makes sense to replace it every 5 years. Plus, our systems are heavily reliant on those network systems, so if they do go down, they do crash, then we're out of business. So definitely.
I guess my basic reason for asking is for the public, because people say, why are we replacing equipment again, you know? But most of us get home computers and keep them until they die, you know, but I know you can't do that with what you're dealing with. And the other question I have is, how's our Smart 911, how's that rollout going?
Smart 911 is going out really well. As of today, I checked this morning, we're at 5,698 individuals signed up for Smart 911, which is right around 5% of the population, which is terrific from where we stand. And we're continuing to push information out on social media. We have the luxury, I guess, of having a couple of interns we brought on board this year, and one of our interns is focused primarily on Smart 911, so we're rolling out some other things with her in the near future. But encourage people to go to smart911.com and sign up for sure.
Commissioner Durancheck.
I asked you a question earlier. It'd be nice to know that I received an email and it said if you're going to be, you need to upgrade or take a look at your Smart 911. If you can elaborate on it a little bit for the people out there, that it is a legitimate email.
One thing that Smart 911 does that I think is very smart is they ensure that the information doesn't get stale on the users. So every 6 months there should be an email just asking you to update, and then within a year they're basically going to say that your account will be suspended in all essence until you update. Because I always use the rule 30 seconds or 30 feet, whichever comes quicker. Someone's going to change a phone number, an email address. We're always struggling with that. So this ensures that when someone calls, that cell phone number is indeed that person we're talking to. So that's always important to if you get an email from Smart 911, yes, indeed, it is asking you, and there's no phishing scam going on.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else? Chris, is it the cost of the support that's the biggest problem? I know at some point you gotta replace equipment.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the magic number of years? 5, 7, 8, 9?
After year 5, depending on just after year 5 in the industry, it starts to become equal to the cost of a piece of equipment, the maintenance. The years 2 and 3 are low, and then when you get to years 4 and 5, you're doing the extended warranty, for lack of a better term. And then when you get into years 6, 7, 8, it's over the cost of the product. And then you're looking at, once you get to that year 5 of a piece of equipment that's as important and vital as where we're at, then you look at the chance of something, breaking, go way up too.
Now, is that when you go out for the RFP, is that part of the RFP, the support?
Yes, that's included.
Well, that's not negotiable. That would be a specific cost that they are putting within their RFP, right?
First, the original year is included, and then you buy the extended warranty, and then you renew, then it goes up after the first 3 years.
And they all have, all the and I'll say if there's 2 or 3 companies bidding on that, are all the warranties somewhat similar?
They're similar. The companies that are bidding, it's the same product, but just different vendors bidding for that product. So there might be 3 or 4 vendors who have this piece of equipment, the type of equipment we need, and they provide pricing on that equipment.
So if, I'm trying to, because I
Yeah.
looked at this and it says increases 40%, that's a number, it all depends upon how much you started with.
Mhm.
And then you go up 200% or 400%, but is the 400% cost to provide support for that equal to the cost of the equipment?
It would be more than the cost of the equipment.
Okay. So 5 years is about,
That's really your threshold where you're looking at the IT side and saying, you get into year 6 and 7, and the cost actually outweigh the cost of purchasing new equipment. When you figure in that first year warranty is included. So you look at those numbers and it makes sense.
okay, because I just saw the numbers and I wasn't quite sure how that worked. All right, thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else have any questions for Mr. Ozorski? Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. We have a Cummings Bridgeway generator maintenance agreement.
So motion approved.
Moved and supported. Questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. From Community Corrections Manager, this is the 2017 grant application.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. From the Director of Recreation and Facilities, this is a fee schedule change for the community center pool.
So, support.
Moved and supported. Any questions? Commissioner Creed?
Just one quick one. The opening date for the pool, would we target, trying to target?
Yes, we will be open on June 20th, and that's pretty typical for what we do every summer. We try to aim for about 1 week after the kids get out of school. So June 20th will be our first day.
Thank you.
And anybody else? Kristen, I think there was that gentleman that did contribute to that, to reduce the fees for the kids coming in, correct?
Yeah, so Mr. Carberry and the VFW donated. On Thursdays, all kids 17 and younger get to swim for free. And on those days, depending on the weather, we get anywhere from like 250 to about 600 kids throughout the course of the day. So they are very, very busy days.
And he should be acknowledged for that contribution.
Absolutely, and he does. We have a check presentation ceremony, and we always thank him on Facebook every single Thursday. And there's a banner up at the pool. So he's been doing this for a number of years now, and it's been very successful.
And I believe, so that the general public knows, within this proposal, you are proposing to reduce the cost for kids on, is it certain days or all?
On all the other days. So what we'd like to do is reduce the cost to $2. Currently, it's $4 for children to come in and swim and $5 for their parents to attend. And what we're seeing hundreds of children on the free days, but on the days where children have to pay, we maybe get 20 kids. You know, and what we're trying to do, Tom and I are trying to make sure that the pool is available for everybody to use, that the kids get the opportunity to use it. And we're hoping this one-year trial will prove that at a lower price, the kids can use the pool.
And you know, I think it's good sense, because if they pay $2, they're probably gonna spend $2 on fruit or something healthy for them, right? All right, thank you, good job, I like that. Anybody else? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Number 2 would be the hazardous tree removal at Pinconning Park.
Support.
Moved and supported. Questions or discussion? Just, Commissioner Krieger?
Yeah, just a comment. I saw an email floating around that we hit a milestone at the Pinconning Park as far as attendance. If you'd like to share that a second, that would be great.
Yes, we hit 12,000 vehicle permits, and it's a very high number for us since Dan has been at the park. So we're very excited. The park has been very busy, and it's like the summer destination in our area. You know, there's kayaking, the beach is great, the camping is great. We have those 60 camping last year, so we're gonna have a really great summer.
You guys have done a great job
Very
out there.
nice, Commissioner.
Make sure that you give kudos to Dan and the whole staff. We had a Rotary event out there this past weekend. The park was full. I think every campsite but we had a bunch of kids, and Mr. Bob, the kayak renter, took every one of the kids one at a time for a kayak ride, and we had a bunch of other events there, casting and fishing and hiking and all that stuff, so park was perfect as far as upkeep, and everybody was impressed.
Great, I'll share with Dan. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And while we're on recreation, I think Big County Park is a beautiful park, but I think it's either a close second to State Park or it's tied. And all the people that, over the last couple of weeks who have, said last weekend, they said the place was full. You know, that you have the spray park and folks walking down to the beach, making it, with it being more accessible with the water up. I heard so many good comments on that, you know, it's nice that in our community we're able to offer throughout the community, Pinconning and out at State Park, access to recreation, and I think that's very good. Mike, go ahead.
Well, one extra comment, because of the high water, over the weekend, they were launching 22-foot boats. That's like unheard of out at the park, so I mean, it's, you know, the parking lot was just full. You couldn't hardly get any more trailers and that. You could see boats all over, so it's a real asset for the county and for our area up there.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Okay, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Number 3, we have an ice edger for the Civic Arena.
So,
Support.
Moved and supported. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Number 4, we have user fees for the Bay County Civic Arena.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any questions? Kristen, you want to give just a little brief synopsis? I think there's some reductions there, right?
Yes, there is. We're looking at changing a number of fees there. One is a showcase event, which is basically when somebody comes in and they run a tournament themselves. We just sell ice. So we're reducing that hourly cost if they're renting more than 10 hours of ice in a 3-day period. So essentially like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday weekend. They pay for their own scorekeepers, they pay for their own refs, which isn't the case when we run our own tournament. So that's a new price. We're looking at summer ice to reduce it just a pinch because it's harder to sell during the summer. The hockey season isn't as popular as it is in the winter. Just trying to make ourselves more marketable. A couple just housekeeping items, but one of the things that has been really successful at the Civic Arena is last year we started a free hockey program. And the idea and what you guys approved was for the first year, like these kids could come in and they could learn to play hockey for free. And we provided them with the sticks and the skates and all that stuff was, we paid for by our endowment money. And now that we're into the second year, because the first year was so successful, we think that there's going to be kids that want to play for a second year. And so we're asking to charge those kids $30, where if there's a new kid that comes into the program, they still would be able to do it for free. So, and then just, again, some more housekeeping things, a little bit of change in language, but that's about it.
All right, thank you, Kristen.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Tilly.
Just, when it says like the showcase, is that per hour?
Right, $175 per hour,
Okay,
and they
that's
have to rent more than 10 hours of ice in a 3-day period.
Sure. Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Under H, from the Supervisor of Buildings and Grounds, this was an emergency water main break at the community center. They're asking for $10,290.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. From the Director of the Division on Aging, this is an acceptance of some carryover funds.
so moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Under J, from Golden Horizons, this is a 2017 multi-year application through Region 7, for Region 7 funding.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Under K, we have a number of payables from the General, Bayonet, Center Ridge Arms.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. From the finance officer, we have a number of budget adjustments.
So moved.
Support. Moved and supported. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Number 2 would be the analysis of the general fund equity. A motion to receive would be in order.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Number 3 would be the Executive Directive 2007-11. A motion to receive would be in order.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. From the purchasing agent, we have a contract addendum for the Verizon Wireless.
So moved.
Support. Moved and supported. Questions or discussion? Commissioner Tiller.
I want to thank Frances, I think if she's here, for her efforts in bringing down the cost. It's never a small task when you have to deal with telephone companies, as we all know. So, thanks again.
Thank you very much.
And that was a reduction in expenditures. So good job, Francis.
$188 a month.
Yeah, that's good. Nice job. Anybody else? Thank you, Francis. With no others, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. We have waste and recycling removal.
So moved.
Support. Moved and supported. And I think that's a cost savings as well, isn't it?
Yep.
Good job. Any discussion on that? With none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Number 5 would be Information Systems Manager. This is a custom report for Munis from Tyler Technologies.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. We have one referral. This is from the Personnel Human Services Committee on 517.
Mr. Chair, I still think there's some issues that need to be worked out, so with permission from the chair, I'd like to refer this again back to Mr. Hickner for another month to work out the details. Tom?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. We would support that. I have not had a chance to meet with Judge Clyda because she was out of state, and we're still working those details out. But as we deal with this issue, I just want to make sure that I'm in close communication with Judge Clyda and the other judges.
Is it coming back to Ways and Means? Because we're not going to kick this down the road all day long.
No, I would think if need be, we could bring it to the full board in July.
Go to Ways and Means in July.
Full board.
Well, there was a motion to what?
Support.
Motion to what? Send it back to where?
Back to administration, back to town.
Till July.
Correct.
Then, yeah, but we're going to address it in July, hopefully, one way or another. Okay. All right. There's a motion and support. Any discussion on this? Commissioner Durant.
Thank you. I think also we have to take into account that the Defense Commission, we need to see what they're going to require of us also. We should not be out making plans when we don't even know if they're going to be approved, who's going to finance this, how much extras are going to cost and everything else. So I think that has to play into there too until we actually know what the costs are or what the requirements are going to be for this indigent
Well, we used
defense.
to do this, Mike. We used to do this before we went to this system, so it's not.
I'm aware of that, but
nothing new.
I'm concerned, Mr. Chair, about the costs compared to what they are now.
Well, okay. We can, I guess hopefully we can have that discussion, but.
Yeah, definitely.
This isn't nothing new. We used to do it.
I know I was here, sir.
All right. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Any unfinished business? Any new business? No closed session. Jan, did we have another thing that we had to address from Mike? Or did we already address that? That didn't make the agenda, that we were gonna, or maybe that's gonna go to the full board, or I'm not sure. What was that other?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
This, okay. This would be under new business. This is the waiver of adoption. Did everybody see this? This is the waiver of adoption fees. Mike, do you want to give us a little bit of information on that?
Yes, my apologies to this committee as well as to the board coordinator, Deanne Berger, for the lateness of the seeking the approval of that proposal. But it's a measure to cite a particular day for Clear the Shelter Day. As is indicated in the proposal, the numbers of animals available for adoption is indeterminate at this time because you only know from day to day as to what your inventory is. So as regards the revenue loss, it's not going to be substantial. As I indicated earlier, as of today, we have 1 dog in the house and 50 cats available for adoption. So on the date indicated, we're not going to know until the date indicated as to how many animals are available for adoption, and certainly we're not going to know with a certainty how many animals will be adopted. So I'm asking for this committee and the board's approval to waive the adoption fee on that date.
Commissioner Krieger.
Is there a possibility we could also do that on the day of the Paws in the Park?
I think so.
I don't know why not. I don't know why not with the approval of the board.
It says June the 25th. Is that
Right.
the same
Yeah.
date?
Okay.
No, it's not the same date as Paws in the Park, though. No. That's July,
Paws in the Park is September.
September, not until September. We could include that in September, I guess, on Paws in the Park Day.
I just think it'd be an added
Incentive.
incentive with you having
Sure.
500 people out there and you got the
Right.
little puppies and the kids are going, oh, Dad, can I get a
Sure.
dog? And they say, I can't afford it. Well, now they can afford it.
Commissioner, I concur that that's a good idea, and I endorse it.
I support it.
I was just going to add to what Mike said, that there was a national event
Yes.
that we only got wind of
Right.
like a day or so from the media before it was going to happen, and we knew we needed board approval to waive any fees, so that's Mike
Right.
came up with the idea of having our own event.
Right.
And, you know, with success, we could do it periodically with the board's approval.
If I may, Commissioner, perhaps I can come back with yet another proposal to hold it on the day of the Paws in the Park event, unless you want to include it.
I would rather have it
Fine.
done now so you can start to advertise.
Sure.
And they can cover it on the radio in advance.
Great. I like that. Thank you.
Were we going to do it on the 25th of June and then?
Yes.
Okay,
Right.
yeah. Sounds good.
And thank you for the suggestion.
Sounds good. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Anybody
Thank
have
you.
anything under miscellaneous? Commissioner Taylor?
I want to send a thank you out to Tom Putnam, who's not here, but the lady that had the issue with the mosquitoes on Loria Road. I was out knocking on doors out there. I stopped at her house, and but it was breezy and it was sunny outside when I was there, and I didn't notice too many there. But Tom made a point to send it. I made a phone call right there to her house and talked to Tom, and he made a point to take the truck out there and spray her backyard. So she has had some treatment taken care of. I don't know, now since the monsoons came through the last 2 days, they're probably going to have a new breed that's going to be flying around. And then secondly, in our neighborhood in Bay City, there are spots that were really bad with mosquitoes. Thankfully not in my yard, but in my neighbor's yards for whatever reasons. And I saw today that the trucks were out backing up into people's yards and spraying those. And I want to encourage people in the public that mosquito control will do that. You just have to make a phone call to them. Yes, they dropped the pellets. That was kind of fun to watch the helicopter going over the top of my house the other day and dropping those pellets. But sometimes there are unique spots that water gets trapped and those mosquitoes start breeding. It doesn't take much in the city with people watering their lawns and what have you for those things really to peak. And but mosquito control will come out. They'll handle your issues. You pay taxes for that, and they do a very good job out there. Thanks.
Commissioner Begic.
Mr. Bristow was here last time talking about Hartley landfill, and I was at a local emergency planning committee meeting the other day. There's a new DEQ person Lauren Curtis. I started talking to him about, wanting to have like a round table or a forum or something, so he was open to that suggestion. So if we're looking to set something up, he's the new, taking over for the former person, Lauren Curtis, but he was open to meeting, talking about the Hartley landfill. We talked about the Hartley landfill a little bit at that meeting also.
Maybe we need to introduce him to Laura, and she could probably work with him to set something up. Anybody else? Commissioner Krieger,
Mr. Chair, how would you like to talk about a big event coming up at the end of the month?
you got the floor.
It's our beach wellness event, last weekend of June on Saturday. We have our 5 and 10K run and walk, followed by volleyball on the beach. The shoreline is in great shape. Had lots of comments from people who've been out there on how nice it is. We're progressing down the road for our boardwalk. They do have out right now the floating docks that Beach Wellness made money available to purchase to get people more accustomed to actually being able to get out into the bay and observe the water and take on all the nice things that the state park has to offer. So,
You know, that last set of floating docks we bought
Yeah.
last year, where are those?
right now they're out by the sand path, and once we get our final permission from our illustrious Army Corps of Engineers,
They'll go in the water.
they'll be moved so that it's right adjacent to where the boardwalk would come out to the beach.
That would be great. And
Yep.
then, that's beautiful out there. And then, also last Friday, we put up 10 volleyball courts in the IBEW, Industrial, International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. They came out, Bay City Electric Light and Power came out with a 4-foot auger, trying to put holes in the sand don't work.
What's nice
Your
with
hand
that
digging.
pole digger,
And we got that down. This is about our 10th year of doing it.
it is our 10th anniversary.
And it looks great. You look down the beach and, because the water's in so far, we used to put 3, sometimes 4 courts across. You got 2. We're gonna go 2, 1 down there. We got one on kind of like, we call it the stadium court by
There
the,
you go,
what do they call it? The boardwalk.
right off the board.
And the beach looks great. So, we gotta come in, the electric department and our volunteers there and from the IBEW for giving us a hand because, the park doesn't have the resources and Ernie, Bob and I are too old to do that, so.
By ourselves.
Tom?
Just a quick announcement. Battery Park, the staff is continuing to work on doing the renovations to the Battery Park. And they expect to have everything ready to go for a dedication. And the fundraising effort by the committee in general and Keith Markstrom in particular has been phenomenal. He's raised over $120,000. And so it'll be quite impressive when it's done.
And thank you, Tom. And then, Commissioner, go ahead, Mike.
I also have an announcement. Annual Pinconning Cheese Festival is June the 16th, 17th, and 18th, with the race set for Saturday and fireworks and festivities pretty much on Saturday. The parade's early in the morning, and then again the race about 6 o'clock, and then the fireworks at sunset.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One last thing. Kristen, go ahead.
I just wanted to let you guys know and take the opportunity to thank the Bay Area Community Foundation, specifically the Youth Advisory Committee. They granted our application for knocker balls for bubble soccer in fall. So we will be playing bubble soccer this summer at the community center and maybe even at the Civic Arena too. So.
All right. And one last thing, maybe, I'm not sure if we're controlling the Bay 3 TV now. Is it under our,
July 1st.
oh, well, maybe we can
That's the
persuade Nick to get out there before Beach Wellness, take some pictures of the water, take some pictures of the volleyball courts, the spray park, the whole park. And if we can get it on TV, a picture's worth 1,000 words for people to see what we have out there, and maybe we'll get more visitors, which will be good for the community, and those revenue dollars will be good for somebody, right?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you. Anybody else?
Move to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn is always in order, Mr. Chair.
Moved and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.